Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of Texas Underground. I am your host, JVaz. And as always, this show is brought to you by La Conecta. Make sure you check out La Conecta at shop, laconecta.com. We got the rolling trays, the Be Someone tray. We got the Cut energy drink, Pa que andes al 100. And then always, we got the air fresheners where you can get different characters and whatnot. Also brought to you by GT Digital Distribution. If you're an independent artist looking to take your music to the next level, make sure you check out gtdigitaldistribution.com. And they will help you take your music there. Look, man, joining us today, we got a special guest joining us, making an appearance out here in Houston, out from the Bay Area. You know what I'm saying? The ghetto is ghetto is Vato. You know what I'm saying?
Is Vato.
Ghetto is Vato joining us today. Baby Gas, what's up, man?
Hey, what it do, brother? How we doing?
Shit, chilling, bro, chilling. Excited to have you on here, man.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you having me, shit.
Yeah, man.
I've seen y'all do y'all thing on here.
You know, it's something I was telling you earlier that when I started promoting that we were going to have you on, a lot of people were like, man, you know, he actually got a lot of history out here in Houston.
Big history.
Well, before we get to that, what's bringing you out here to Houston right now?
Right now, shit, currently I'm doing an event, meet and greet pop-up over here in Houston and shit at a new shop that's around town, man, called Fresca Love. You know, so we getting ready to do a pop-up this Saturday. You know, and we got a couple things in the works, new stuff that we dropped, new flavors that we dropped. You know, if you know, you know. And we doing a pop-up this Saturday, man, and we're also on the way to OKC at the same time. You know, we got a car show that we need to go perform at, so we're about to just skate through. We're out here in the H for a few days, about to skate through to OKC right after.
Yeah, I saw you were out here yesterday. You were at the Santa Fe Clan and Snow the Product video shoot.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep. Yeah, we popped up. Me and my guy, Little Mexico and shit, was just riding through the city and shit. We had heard that it was happening and shit, so came through, show some love and shit. You know, my guy Santa Fe, you know, I heard that he be smoking, you know, big weed. Yeah. So we had to come through and bless him with some of the new flavors and shit. So we had to smoke him right, you know what I mean? Real Cali soil. Yeah,
man. Is there any possibility that we'll get some sort of collab here in the near future?
Shit. I wouldn't say that. You know, one thing about me is like I fucking suck at collabs, bro. And when I say that, it's like I'm just not good at like tapping in with people like let's do music. I fuck with a lot of people just genuinely in person, people that I got relationships for years that we would do killer music if it came down to it. It just never presented itself. Now if it does in the future, anything is possible. But I'm definitely not one of them artists that, you know, wake up, try to fetch any feature, any sort. You know what I mean?
Gotcha, man. As I mentioned, there's a lot of history out here in Texas with you, and I just wanted to, you know, get in touch with that because I wasn't familiar with it. But then I had my boy Sin, and then hit me up like, nah, I've actually fucked with him a long time ago. So just talk to us about the connection with Texas that you got and how that came about.
So long story short, bro, when I was young, probably around like 16, 17, you know, I ended up catching a little case back home, and as a minor, and being in a juvenile hall system, you know, on one of my court dates, you know, they gave me the option to move to Houston with my mom. I was still a minor at the time, you know what I mean? And mom's was out the way. She was living in Houston already. So long story short, they sent me to Houston on a federal type probation, you know what I mean, for about a year or so. And my guy Gotos happened to be out here already.
Yeah.
And, you know, we was already locked in. So to me, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, you know, that I had to make this move. But I knew that Houston was a big hub, music hub at least. We grew up on a lot of H-Town shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I touched down now here, we touched down through that. That's how I got here. And when I got out here, bro, it's one thing about me is anywhere I go, I like to put my toes in the sand. And I like to really be 10 toes down and, you know, fully grounded to where I'm staying at. So I actually moved to the heart of Houston, actually where we at now, you know what I mean? Right there off of Beach Nut and 59 in the Southwest, you know what I mean? So I was right in the middle of the shit. I didn't move to the suburbs or nothing like that. You know, I didn't have a lot of money yet, you know what I mean? We was still grinding and shit, and I was a minor at the time. So I got myself a good little apartment, you know what I mean, in the Southwest, and I was just grinding out here for like 3-4 years. Yeah. And I connected with everybody because, like I said, when I live somewhere where I lay my hat, you know what I mean, like I'm a really move around. I'm not one of like them out of towners that just come through and dip and dab through the city. Nah, you'd have thought I was from here. The way I'm outside with it, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of love. And right now, it's the first time in a few years that I've been back. So it definitely feels good to be back, connecting with a lot of old friends. And it's dope to see actually the people that I was grinding with, struggling with, out here in Houston, everybody doing their thing, man.
Yeah.
Everybody. So that's just a blessing in itself too.
For sure, man. That's always a cool thing. That's always we always preach about on social media that look, man, like it's cool to see all of the people that we came up with coming up. What I mean? Yeah, for sure. So speaking of your younger self, when you got kicked off with your career, you started off with Thizz Latin, correct?
Correct.
Being that that's such a legendary thing, especially out there in Cali, bro. What was that like? What was your experience like?
My experience was dope. Thizz Latin was a huge stepping stone for me. It was a platform that was created by Toes very early on, and as a matter of fact, they definitely, the branches started coming out from different sections all around the country. Different Thizz Latin branches. I was one of the last, if not the last, person to get signed to Thizz Latin as a general label, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to even make my own branch off of it, which was Thizz Latin Oakland. And I had the opportunity to really bring something to my city during them times that wasn't happening. The whole Mexican rapper shit, that shit's it's new. Yeah. It look good now because motherfuckers is doing their thing. Shout out to La Raza, you feel me? But at a certain point in time, bro, it wasn't really popular. So for me to come through with the Thizz Latin Oakland and create a platform for the Latino people in the town to come through and come showcase our talent to our people, I mean, it was huge. We had the city turned up. Yeah. And we had the Thizz Latin imprint behind us, as well as the Thizz Nation imprint. Was always showing love, still to this day. And it did something for us because at least my generation, bro, we grew up on that shit. We grew up on the Thizz Nation, Thizz Latin songs that was on the radio and, hitting the streets. So it was a big culture move for me. And that's the only time, back to the collabs, that's one of the main times that I ever try to reach out about a collab when it's like something I grew up on. Because I'm still chasing them personal goals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I got songs with people that they might not necessarily be popping anymore, but I'm like, I grew up on that dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just need a song just to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you. That's how I feel with the podcast, bro. I feel like, sometimes I do some of these interviews and people hit me with but they're the older. I'm like, yeah, but that's like me being selfish.
Yeah.
Wanting to get,
That's for me, man. That's for me. Hell yeah.
Like, it's not about how many views I'm going to get on this interview or if this artist is still relevant. I want to know these things.
Hey, I did that shit out here in Houston too, bro. Like, I got a record with my nigga Paul Wall.
Yeah.
And that to me was a personal accolade because I grew up on sitting sideways and all the crazy shit. That's one thing we was just talking about yesterday. Houston or Texas itself got a lot of love for Cali, and Cali got a lot of love for Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Man, that's one thing that we've been talking about a lot. Before I started this podcast, I had another podcast called Texas Underground Radar, and we were discussing that a lot. We were trying to, it seems like there's a disconnect between Texas and Cali, right? Obviously, you got your artists that do connect with each other, but as a fan base, the fan base not understanding certain things. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, the word nigga. You know what I mean? Here in Texas, we're so used to that word. We grew up, I came to Texas, didn't know a lick of English, but I grew up in the Prairie View area, which is heavily black and, the minorities there. And when I learned my English, how do you think I was going to talk? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it became one of those things. But so when we think of Cali, especially on my TikTok page, I get a lot of, y'all ain't supposed to be using this word, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
So I want to, especially you being from Cali, I wanted to get a better understanding of what's it like over there as far as the black and the Mexicans and the use of the word for your personal experience. Obviously,
I think that to speak on Cali as a whole is just too hard. Yeah. Because one thing about Cali is like we don't have a certain style in Cali that is a California universal thing, right? I feel like if you grew up in San Jose it's a completely different culture than growing up in Oakland. Completely different culture than growing up in San Francisco. Completely different culture from growing up in Salinas, Monterey, the Vallejos. Like every city in the Bay got its own style. You know what I mean? So growing up in Oakland, with the blacks and the Mexicans, we're the same way. We was more entwined with each other. You know what I mean? We shared neighborhoods. We grew up, with the same struggles. And see, even and just a little side on the side, I felt like when I first moved to Houston, I didn't really see the black and brown connection.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real. Like we was down here long time ago, about 2012, 2013ish, and I came down here. Gold Toes was already down here, and me and Toes was rocking everywhere. We pull up to all the shows. We had Warehouse Live. Anybody that got big shows, we there. Only Mexicans in the building.
Yeah.
There wasn't. I did not see, and I don't know if I was in the wrong places, but I was everywhere. And literally everywhere, you know what I mean? I'd go, like I said, I was on the Southwest, we would fuck around, nigga, in Acres Homes, nigga, on the North Side, you feel me? Like, we come through, fuck around in a lot of different neighborhoods, and I ain't never saw the black and brown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now, in today's time, I come back to H-Town now. Yeah, I see the groups now. I see the crowds. I see the entourages. They mixed in. My Migo, my brother, you feel me? Like, now I see it a little more often. But when I was here, I didn't see it, bro. And you correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, I'm sure you had, like, people back in the day. Like, you had the Dope House. You know what I mean? You had Mexicans on there, but you had Rashid. You know what I mean? And you had for sure. I'm not saying that there was none at all.
Yeah.
But was it a thing throughout the whole city? I'd never seen it.
No, and I'm glad you're saying this, because this is what's cool by getting the perspective from somebody that's not from our area, because we think we see it, but then we hear it from like yourself that came for a time, and like you said, you didn't see it. So it's always cool to get that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So and that puts back to how we feel, how we think Cali is. But then you tell me like, nah, we were like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we are like this
we
in
like
certain
that.
areas. Yeah.
And like I said, certain areas, because you could go probably to a San Ho, or you could go to a Salinas, where, there's a lot more like Mexican families, Chicano families, Farmeros, you're working in the field, the struggle kind of seems a lot more segregated.
Yeah.
Because you work at the razas working in the field, and the black folks ain't, you know what I mean? So they probably feel like they got two different struggles.
Correct.
But when we growing up in the town, I mean, we all struggling the same way. My tia making food out the crib to sell tamales, and my bro's mom making gumbo cups to sell out her crib too. You know what I mean? Like we hustling the same. Yeah. We got the same struggles. And the black and brown is not just blacks and Mexicans or Hispanics. We got our Middle Eastern brothers that's down there too. People from, we got the folks from Yemen, people that come down from India, Pakistan, my Afghan folks, like, everybody down there. We're a melting pot. My Asian folks, like it's more than just the blacks and the Mexicans, but yeah, for sure. Growing up in my area, we was like this. So, going back to the original question, when people say the whole like nigga thing, like for one, it was just something that was embedded in our vocabulary, and where we're from, it was never meant to be interpreted into a type of like term that'll put somebody else down.
Correct.
To us, that was like a fool, or like homie, like, what's up, fool? What's up, nigga? Like, what you doing? You feel me? It ain't never, at least not where we're from. And I can understand, I definitely don't take away from the cities, the states that feel a certain type of way about it.
Yeah.
I try to look at everybody's perspective about it. And of course, somebody that ain't used to, Mexicans being, family, they might be like, hell no, who the fuck is this fucking Mexican, that's out here saying nigga and shit? Because, I see it in the comments, oh, you a Mexican saying nigga, how would you feel if we say, like, what's up, wetback? And that ain't really the same, but I could definitely see people's perspective if you ain't used to it, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's one of them things, man, like I said, I grew up in that minority school. So, again, that's how I learned my English. And as I got older, I was working at a place out there in Brenham, Texas. and there was this older black dude, right? And then, you know, I was talking to the other people that worked there, and that's how we got along. We're around the same age. And then one day he's like, "Hey man, let me holler at you." So I started talking to him, and he's like, "Why do you say nigga like so comfortably?" So then I explained to him, and then he's like, "Well, you know," he's like, "I don't mind it." He's like, "But just to let you know, there's some people that might get offended." And he started to give me the whole history of it, and I was like, "I respect that." So from that point forward, I guess I'm more aware of my surroundings. I guess is the thing. Depends who I'm around with. If I'm with my partners, then that's how I talk. But if I'm around people that I'm not familiar with, then I'm like, I'm gonna respect them by not using it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, that's
that's respectable. That's respectable.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like when we was growing up, I feel like our environment. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to say it 10 times more than what I do now.
Yeah.
It was like 3 times in a sentence. You know what I mean? It was probably like that's just how everybody talk out there. But the older that I got, the more that I started moving around. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing to replace them with certain words and shit. You know what I mean? But I do, like I said, I ain't never ignorant to other people's thoughts on shit. I like to hear you out. Yeah. I ain't gonna say that you're gonna change my vocabulary. You know what I mean? Yeah. I highly doubt that will happen. You know, but I also think that it ain't nothing but a conversation.
Correct.
Understand me where I'm coming from. I ain't speaking for everybody either. I don't know why the rest of everybody say it. I know why I say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, believe it or not, bro, I say it with like no effort. You know what I mean? It's something that's just there that just flows out with the rest of the convo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, and to piggyback from what you were saying, like different areas of Cali, just to give a quick example, I got family that stay out in the valley, in the McAllen Mission area, and it's so crazy. We had a party last December, and had some of my friends pull up, and they're black. My cousin was like, "Oh, y'all hang out with black people?" And we're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh, we feel a little uncomfortable." I was like, I don't know what to tell y'all. And it's crazy because, again, it's Texas, but it's 2 different parts of Texas, and they feel a little uncomfortable about it. And I'm like, this fucking normal to us, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
Did you ever ask, like, what makes you feel uncomfortable about it?
Nah, I didn't ask, to be honest.
Because, like, here's the thing about me, bro. It's like, I'm so entwined with that, is that we just grew up in one world to me. You know what I mean? So, I feel it. I see when other people that aren't used to it, and the Hispanic community, we're obviously where we come from a certain, when you come from a certain country, I would say, where you're used to seeing people that look nothing but like you, in a certain area. If anything, just the skin tone and the color eyes change depending on what part of your country you're from. I think that people just get shocked when they see somebody that looks different.
Yeah.
And I say that to say, like, when I was younger, my mom, we my first years in Oakland, I would say, I lived on Seminary, and I lived in an apartment complex where it was nothing but Hispanics. Every single apartment. Matter of fact, there was one household that were black, but they were from Panama. So, they spoke Spanish and shit, you know what I mean? They were Latinos still. But my family used to have this certain like stigma, on, the black people. You know what I mean? That's how they look at it.
Yeah.
And fast forward, they used to feel a little uncomfortable, all the shit. Then, at a very early age, we ended up moving a little deeper in East Oakland, landed on 98th, you know what I mean? Where these hoods are now shared by these 2, races, right? So we got, the Asians, like I said, we got the Mexicans, we got the blacks, we're all one. So we moved, my next door neighbor right here, black, my next door neighbor right here, black. You know what I mean? And we had no other choice, right? You can't dodge the people you're around. So long story short, bruh, it was automatic. They always show love at every angle, bruh. Everybody that showed us love in that community was black. You know what I mean? Yeah. We had a lady across the street that would give us free food, bro. And she like really saved us in a lot of hard times. Yeah. And she wasn't Mexican. She wasn't showing love just because she was Mexican. She was black. We was Mexican. And she was taking care of us. You feel me? Yeah. And even though I never thought of it like that, right? Because I grew up around them. for somebody like my mom that was just used to being around Mexican neighborhoods, even like her little time in LA, it was straight Hispanic neighborhoods. She started seeing like this lady helping us out. Our neighbors is starting to become like family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So her whole fucking mind changed, bro. And funny ass story, you know, my mom, she speaks Spanish, but she speak it with a fat accent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She been here like 30 years, but never caught the English on point. You know what I mean? So you can for sure tell she not from here. So one day she tell me like, yeah, we going to my friend's house. Well, we pull up to a friend's house and it's this older black lady. So to me, I'm like, oh shit, you know, like the shit over time even done changed my mom.
Yeah.
And the fact that she grew up a certain way and was able to shift and see the bigger picture, right? Like we're really all just one. You know what I mean? For me, I grew up on that all the way down to a point. My wife is, you know, black and Salvadorian.
Yeah.
My kids is mixed. You know what I mean? My father-in-law and them, like I'm entwined in both cultures. You know, so it's definitely good to see all around, all states, all cities in today's time as the black and brown unity, bro. Because that shit's unstoppable. Yeah. And that go back to the fucking Gold Toes vision from the jump, right? With black and brown entertainment. Because that's what he was doing in San Francisco, California. You know, you had the Mexicans in a mission, you know what I mean? And then you had the black folks in the city. Yeah. And they collided and made some of the fucking most historical projects out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Shouts out to Gold Toes, man. Shouts out to Gold Toes. Black and brown entertainment. Growing up, that was probably...
That was huge, right?
And it was crazy because that was probably the only Cali music we listened to. At least the group of people that I hung out with.
Yeah.
It was like black and brown and everything dope house. You know what I mean? Basically. So we're talking about, you know, being Mexican in this industry, man. And one of the things that I feel like is now things are changing. Now, you know, Mexicans starting to get a little more respect, but I still feel like there's some lack of respect in there. How do you feel about it? Obviously, in your perspective, and you're in the game, you know, more than I am. So how do you feel like? Do you feel like we get the respect we deserve, or is there room for improvement?
All right. Well, see, somebody's asked me this question before, and I always ask the respect from what perspective? Because if we're talking about just personal respect, you walk in a building and people got respect for you, like, I demand that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I ain't liking none of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? We come through, you know, we respectful to people, so we expect the same in return. Correct. You know what I mean? And we get it. But in the music industry, if you're asking me from like a media outlet standpoint, you know, the music plants and shit like that, yeah, I feel like definitely we have a lot to do still and a long way to go. But that doesn't stir me away from the fact that we've came a long ass way, bro. Like I said, I'll never forget that shit. One time me and Gold Toast pulled up, I think it was Warehouse Live, if I'm not mistaken. And we pulled up to a Scarface show out here in Houston. Scarface was performing. You know, it's big, right? Legendary, bro, from out here. And we go to a Scarface show. Long story short, me and him the only Mexicans in the building. And I could see it. I see people looking at us backstage like, ooh, where the fuck these Migos come from, man? Yeah. I even heard something like, who let the Migos in the door? And we was Bay niggas. So to us, that was nothing different. The fact that we were only two of us and like 100 other people backstage that happen to be black, like, I don't even notice that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? We just in a mix. What's up with bro? What's up with bro? You know what I mean? Hollering at everybody, but other people notice it. Like, these Mex in here, you know, that's what they used to call it back there out here at the Mex. The Mex out here be doing, you know, out here moving. And, you know, me and Toes did that a lot of times out here in the earlier years. You know, Toes was out here in Texas when I was a fucking kid, before my time type shit. But when I was out here, me and him was moving and grooving, bro, and we was the only Mexicans in the area. So from where we started to where I'm at now, and how the game looks at me now, media wise, for sure, we got a lot to go. Yeah, the labels, you know, the media outlets, you know what I mean, for sure, they got a lot to realize when it comes to this Latino shit. Yeah, you know.
I also want to emphasize that it's also not just. I feel like sometimes as a fan, we feel like as peers, there's not enough respect. But what I'm trying to say is, as a fan base, we need to do better. as fans, right? Because we have a lot of dope Mexican, Hispanics, periods, artists out here, but we can't, for some reason, especially here in Texas, bro. I don't know how it is in Cali, but here in Houston, it doesn't matter who pops up. And Mexican OT doing his thing right now. And you go to the comments, and what do you see? Oh, he's not better than South Park Mexican. Like, bro, OT has never said he wants to be better than South Park Mexican. Can we just respect the fact that we got another dope Mexican artist doing his thing right now?
Yeah.
The Baby. Oh, he doesn't sound like, bro, who said they're trying to sound like them? So that's what I mean. But like as a fan base, and I, myself included, because I am a fan of the music, we need to do better at stop comparing and stop making these fictional competitions, because they're fictional. SPM cool with OT. There's a relationship there. So why are we making a who's better? Bro, they're both good.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people fall on the whole like who reps the fucking the culture harder.
Yeah.
Right? They might think that a wardrobe, because when at least from what the video, I wasn't around during them times, but the videos that I saw of like SPM performances and all this shit, I saw like a lot of like brown pride audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that was brown and proud, you know what I mean? And I think that with the newer artists, because I've came across Mexican OT and I've came across D Baby, they got more of like a universal sound in terms of like if you heard them on the radio, and they wasn't speaking a lick of Spanish, you would assume that they was anything but Mexican.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, and that ain't really the case. Like you said, that's on a fan base, right? Just because somebody not waving a certain flag don't make them any less of a Mexican, or like they repping Mexico any less.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I seen Mexican OT come out with a fucking rooster or something on one of his performances. Shit, right? That was real raza shit to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't wave a Mexico flag or Salvadorian flag everywhere I go. But you see me with the paleta cart, or you see me fuck on my vendors. I do little shit that's still in touch with my roots. But just because I don't rep a certain flag the way the last artist did, I completely agree. You know what I mean? We don't compare to nobody, and I for sure appreciate the people that came before us.
Correct.
That paved any type of way for the Latinos, all the way back to Big Pun. You know what I mean? So yeah, that whole comparing shit, man, we got to do better. And our biggest enemy will always be our people.
Correct.
That's just how it is.
Unfortunately,
I think a lot of people don't really understand that, and I didn't really see it till I lived in Mexico. So I lived in Mexico for about 2 years, and I saw the shit. Like people really jealous over there. Yeah. And growing up Chicano, growing up out here, you ain't American enough, or you ain't Mexican enough. You stuck in the middle of the shit, right? So overlapping battle.
Yeah, it is, bro. Because even me, I was born in Mexico. Like I said, I came over here, didn't know any English. And
oh, really?
Yeah, I was
what
born
part?
Tamaulipas.
Oh shit, okay.
Tamaulipas. That's where I was born at. And the other day I did a segment in Spanish. And again, I'm born in Mexico, lived there for like the first 5 years of my life, but I'm still not Mexican enough for the Mexicans in Mexico. TikTok started going in on me about my Spanish, and I was like, bro, I thought I spoke perfect Spanish. That's all I speak at the house with my mom, with my dad, with my family growing up. That's all we spoke. But according to them, again, I'm not Mexican enough, and then I'm over here and I'm not, I guess, Mexican enough.
Well, I think it goes even, it's kind of like when somebody moves out their city, right? And you all of a sudden not that enough.
Yeah.
You might move out of Houston and you ain't H-Town enough anymore because you ain't out there. You know what I mean? That may be true. You might not be on the same Houston shit you was when you was in Houston, but that doesn't stop you from being, one of those seeds that is traveling, repping the Houston culture.
Correct.
Right? That's same thing. Like I agree to a certain extent. I lived in Mexico. There is struggles and stuff over there on a daily basis that we don't experience out here in the U.S. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot, too many to even list. But that doesn't stop us, the ones that was born in the U.S. with parents that done crossed the border. That don't stop us from rapping the culture.
Correct.
You know what I mean? We got taquerias and restaurants out here. We're pushing the culture on our own agenda. But I lately I've been open-minded to both sides of shit. You know what I mean? So I see it.
Yeah, speaking of open-minded, you just said something that reminded me, and I've talked about this in a different episode, so I just want to say it. sometimes people do say that, oh, you don't know the struggle, and it's like, I'm fortunate enough to not know it to that extent. You know what I mean? And again, it is not my fault that my parents came out here looking for a better future for myself. And this is not to speak negative on anybody. I'm just saying because people are like, oh, no, you're not Mexican if you don't know what it's like. Bro, it's true. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what it's like. I'm not claiming to know what the struggle is like. But that doesn't take away that I'm Mexican. It's just a different generation. My parents went through it, so I didn't have to go through it. And I was blessed enough to have both of my parents and give me that better life that we're looking for. You know what I mean? And it's just because, like I said, sometimes people on the internet talk a little crazy, and it's like, you don't know what it's like to be Mexican. I'm born in Mexico, bro. I got the little mark when you get that shot and shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, he's stamped.
I'm stamped. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, shit, I don't know what it's like on an every single day basis, but I definitely experienced it. I was there for 2 years, freshman, 8th grade year type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I went to school out there. I was living in Parral, Chihuahua. Yeah, so I went to school out there. You know what I mean? Did all my shit. So I know I got to experience what it was like growing up in a household with no money. Because keep in mind, I went over there for punishment purposes.
Yeah,
they set my ass up. You know how the Hispanic parents do. You gone. Let me show you what I live like. You know what I mean? So I got sent out there real early on, like 8th grade and shit. And, being out there, I got to experience it. I got to wake up and eating just straight frijoles. And see, when I was out here growing up Hispanic, I didn't really like the beans.
Yeah.
And then went out to Mexico, that's all there was. So you had the tortillas, you had the frijoles, you had the fucking queso fresco, all the shit. So anyways, I experienced what it was like going to school as a Mexican, hopping on that bus, taking it to your colonia, you know what I mean? Getting tortillas in the morning. Like, I experienced all the shit on a day-to-day for about 2 years. So I got a little idea of what it's really like, you know what I mean? And like I said, my parents wasn't saving me.
Yeah.
They wasn't sending me no money, saying like, go do your thing. And matter of fact, yeah, for real. They was like, look, whatever your madrina got, you got. Whatever she don't got, you don't got it. You ain't got it. You know what I mean? I was tapping in like, man, we can't get no waffles down here. Because they got them supermercados where they got some expensive shit, right? Like waffles and, luxury shit like that. But it cost a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Way more than getting some tortillas and frijoles from the corner right quick. So my mom was laughing at me like, you ain't getting none of that shit. And I learned to appreciate it. And I did learn to appreciate the culture, to a great extent. Because being a Hispanic kid growing up in the U.S., we do have shit like microwave foods and, the shit that we could just put in there easy, Hot Pockets and all the luxurious shit. They got that in Mexico, but it costs, bruh. It costs. It ain't like you go to a typical Mexican neighborhood and they ain't got they fridge don't look filled with frozen food like we do out here. You know what I mean?
That sometimes we throw away because it's been sitting there for too long.
And the most important thing that I learned in Mexico that I will say that I appreciate that we don't do here is they take the time to stop and chill with the fam.
Yeah.
Not saying that, we're going to go outside and throw a ball around, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we're all here.
Yep.
We're all here. And that shit don't happen out here.
At the table. We ain't going to be in the living room and all. We're going to eat together as a family. You're right.
Don't be digging in the fridge beforehand. We all going to eat right now. Food almost ready. Somebody comes in, one of the neighbors, hey, sit down. You want some coffee? You want some beans? I had never heard that shit. Do you want some beans? Just some beans.
Luxury plate, boy. Get some beans on tortillas.
So you know what I mean?
One of the things that, right quick, in Mexico, I remember being a kid and we went to go visit my sister. My sister still lives out there in Monclova, in Coahuila. And it was hot as fuck. And they had those big-ass AC units, where you had to hook up a fucking manguera to get water in.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, I was like, hell no, take me back to Texas.
Shit, what about getting the water filled up every week?
From the, what the hell they call it? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right? They filled it up like every week. Yep, I think that's what they call it. And come with the little pompa.
Yeah.
I used to have to climb on the roof to fucking pull the pump out because the shit'll be overflowing. You feel me? It was little struggles like that. You know what I mean? Washing your hands, washing your clothes by hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, You know, we living in Mexico was the only time that I ever wore uniforms for school. And, you know, that shit is by the book, bro. So, you know, if I had only 1 or 2 button-ups, motherfuckers had to wash that shit by hand.
Yeah, you got 3 days left.
Yeah, 3 days with the Foca soap.
The
powder, yeah. You know, if you been to Mexico or from Mexico and, you know, you hear the shit that I'm, you know, saying, you gonna know that, okay, this nigga was out there for a little bit. You know what I mean? He got his shit down.
The Foca soap alone.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, you know, we're talking about the struggles. Let's talk about your breakthrough in the industry, bro. At what point did you feel like you had your breakthrough, and have you had a payday where it was life-changing to yourself, and what was that experience like? And I just want to talk about it because there's a lot of artists that unfortunately will never feel that. So I just want to see.
Yeah, so my breakthrough I felt like was okay. I think my breakthrough was probably around like 20, you know. I'll say around like 1920. You know what I mean?
2020. 1920. You weren't even born yet.
No, I'm saying like 20 years old.
I was like, my boy, high
nah, like 19, 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
Around that age, you know, I think that was the first time that I started catching some real drift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people were starting to see my videos, and I ended up going back home, and you know, I ended up showcasing. See, because the thing, I always had like bigger dreams, right? So when I started doing the music, I was like a big Lil Wayne fan, and I thought that I was gonna be one of those artists that somebody found that had hella fucking talent but came from nothing, and was just gonna come and snatch me up and take me all the way to the fucking top. You know what I mean? Like a Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, got signed being from Louisiana. Kid was broke, just was fucking gassing, and label fucking snatched him up and changed his life. I thought that was gonna happen to me. So I approached the game a certain way at first. So then, you know, when I went back to the drawing board, I was like, you know what, I gotta showcase where I come from. You know, I gotta showcase the ghetto vato, you feel me? So I went back home, you know, went back to the town, shot videos in the hood, you know, showed people kind of what our atmosphere was like. So you see me in videos, Mexican, with, you know, my partners behind me, and they black, Samoan, Tongan, you know what I mean? Like it was for sure looked different than a lot of these different cities and states.
Yeah.
They're like, damn, it's a whole little like group of different ethnicities in here. So that caught the eye off top. You know what I mean? Ghetto Vato, always with my shirt off and shit. Big fucking chops in my video and shit, you know what I mean? And I started catching a breakthrough like that until we came out with the record 30 on Me. Changed the world for me.
Yeah.
Changed everything for me, bro. Random as fuck too, and I don't even like the song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't even like it.
That's what's crazy about it. You know, I wasn't a fan of it. It was just something that I did, and the people ate that shit up. And, you know, to the second question, did I ever get a check that was like life-changing? For sure. Man, Toast himself helped me get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think I got like, say about 60 to 70. You know what I mean? At like 21, 22. Oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was fucking beautiful, bro. You know, and you know, you're talking deals and shit, you're signing paperwork. And then one day you just wake up in your account and you talk about going from like check to check, 500 in your account, 1,000, 500 in your savings.
I better not spend too much.
Yeah, some small shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then boom, you wake up one morning and nigga 70,000 in that shit. That's fucking huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when I did that 60, 70,000, it wasn't the first time that I had touched 60, 70,000. Right? You know, I fucked around when I was younger and shit. Yeah. You know, we did our Dougie hustling and we had touched that, you know, a few times. But it don't feel nothing, like completely nothing, like to be able to say I got that based off my craft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I got that 60, 70, you know, not to say that when you hustling, you look at 60, 70 and you get that, you're thinking about the next move. Yeah. Well, when I got my payday, I ain't think like that, bro. I blew that shit. It took me about 2 months to blow it all. 2 months whole, you feel me?
Yeah.
So really, what I did, and this is to anybody who ain't got that check, do your thing, man. I'm not even gonna be one of those people that's like spend responsibly. Get that shit out of your system. That first big check you get, blow that shit. Do all the shit. Like, especially when I did it, I came from nothing, bro. So even a soft fucking 60, 70,000 for me be able to go to the mall without thinking, buying tickets to whatever state I wanted to go to without thinking, bringing my people with me without thinking.
Yeah.
Like that right there, that shit felt like you felt powerful, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had to get that shit out of my system, blow 1 or 2 checks on some stupid shit to become the responsible me. All right, now you get 50, 60,000. You can open up a franchise, you can open up a silent business, or you can invest in this, that create a passive income over the years. You know what I mean? We think like that now, but I'm not one of them people that's like, yeah, you get your first check, spend responsibly. Nah, because you're going to always have it in your system.
Yeah.
Get that shit out. Spend that bag. Especially if it's from your craft. We do this shit in our sleep. The bag coming again.
Yeah.
It ain't the first bag we got, but we have fun, bro. We have fun. And I brought my people with me. And it wasn't on like I got money, I'm gonna spend it on everybody. I brought my people with me that was there, people that believed in me, people that worked my merch booth without wanting a dollar, people that just showed up to my shows, my folks that did security for me. Anybody around me that added to my shit that wasn't their dream, I took with me. Let's go to Vegas. We all the beach. We are all the fucking pool parties. We got so crazy. We did the little spinning wheel online, and we just threw in random states we wanted to go to, and we pressed the fucking wheel, and when that shit just spun, nigga, and wherever it landed, we was coming. Yeah, Miami, Seattle, everything, bro. It was live.
That's live as hell.
To be able to do that, bro. That's tight. I see a lot of videos of like people, and that should be motivational to me, people who have made it and come back and they pull out the big bag of bread and they split it with their day ones. Here's 10 for you, 10 for you. I'm still yet to do that. You know what I mean? And I can't wait for that day to come.
Yeah.
To where I'm just like, hey, look, we got so much bread, that I came to break bread with y'all too.
Bless everybody.
Because that's, when they say it get lonely at the top, it got a lot of different meanings. Most of the time is you get lonely at the top because you got bread and you're trying to spend it and you're the only motherfucker that got it. I'd rather have all my niggas eating, and I got 1 or 2 friends. I'm not gonna lie, not even on the music shit. I got my bread off the music shit, but I got like 1 or 2 partners that kept up with me. They got their money however they got it.
Yeah.
And bro, I'm talking about my day ones, and we on Miami jet skiing, just looking at each other in the water like.
Who would have thought?
Who would have fucking thought, bro?
That's
went to Hawaii. We always talked about Hawaii as kids and shit. Like, to go out there. It ain't huge. It ain't no other country. But from being where I'm from, coming from where I'm from, Hawaii was a postcard.
Yeah.
That shit was a postcard. Yeah. One of them ones on the refri that moms had, that was just super random, but it was a magnet that helped hold papers up. For real.
Why do we do that? Why do we have shit?
No,
why? Hey man, speaking of, you mentioned being motivational, and I took some lyrics from some of your tracks from your previous projects that I wanted to bring up for the same reason, because again, there is a kid or somebody else chasing a dream that feels a certain way. They might be going through shit, right? And maybe they listen to your music and feel like, okay, there's hope. And the reason I'm saying that is it's the track called Felt Like This from the Quarter Soups and Sugar Water 2.
Yeah.
And you have a line under that says, who would have thought I'll be sitting here? Like, who would have thought? I'll be sitting here like I ain't never had a thought of taking myself. And to me, that was deep, because I feel like we all have that moment to where it's kind of like, bro, what's my purpose?
Facts.
You know what I mean? So when I heard that bar, I was like, I got to talk about this. Like, can you just, was it something that you were going through, and how did you manage to get out of it, bro? Because it's a powerful lyric to myself, and I feel like a lot of people can relate. So I just wanted to speak on that.
Yeah, shit, bro. It's a big battle. I definitely went through a time in my career where people felt like this nigga's going crazy. He doing his thing, bro, dropping videos back to back. He doing all the shit. And they didn't realize that, I was going through some of the worst times of my life, bro. I remember there was a point in time where I had a studio. I owned a recording studio in Stockton, but I ended up making a shift in my life. You know, I already had kids and all that. Long story short, bro, I ended up, living at my studio, battling, myself and battling the balance of being a father and then watching time fly by and, precious moments with my kids. And I couldn't hold my own weight at a certain time. And all my bread was just paying for this fucking studio that I was living in, but was also running as a business. And the shit looked good on camera. But when everybody went home and you get to start thinking, and your mind starts to wander, that's when you start to realize how fucked up you really are. And the reason that lyric was on that album specifically was because when I dropped Quarter Soups and Sugar Water, the first one, I was down on my ass. But the music was lovely. Yeah. You could hear the everybody like, you need to make another project like that. I ain't going through that. But one thing I will say is that when you start doubting yourself and you start thinking like, why am I even here? What's my purpose? That's the battle that you're gonna reach when you're trying to break barriers, right? Because I could have been a 9-to-5er, bro.
Yeah,
I think I probably wouldn't have questioned my purpose then, right? Just working a 9-to-5, paying my bills and all that. But when you down on your ass, your strategies ain't working, your plans ain't working, your family's falling apart. You're just trying to make everybody fucking happy. You're a father, you're a son, you're a brother. You know what I mean? It gets real overwhelming, bro. So what I did is I got in tune with myself, you know what I mean? And I put myself first. I started becoming selfish. And I stopped giving my energy so much to people, and that's kind of what's been keeping me in the state that I'm in right now. Like, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not a fan of people. Yeah. That sounds weird. I know it does, right? Just because, you're an artist, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I fuck with the fans. It's genuine love, you know what I mean? But will I kick it in a room full of hella motherfuckers? Hell nah. You know what I mean? Like, that shit, just the other day, I was at a studio session and I had to reduce the amount of people in there because the shit feels a certain type of way. I'm not a fan of it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm past that. I'm at an age now where I like to chill. I like to feel comfortable, and if I gotta be, in a defensive state of mind, I don't even be around it, so going back to that lyric, bro, for anybody out there that's struggling, doing their thing, find yourself first, bro. You know what I mean? It don't matter if you got kids. It don't matter if you got a wife. You got to find yourself. You ever been on a plane and they tell you, like, make sure you put your mask on first
before you help
the others? It's because I didn't realize, like, how can I give my kids the best version of me if I ain't the best version of me? How can I be the best father if I ain't personally happy? Now, I took some crazy sacrifices, bro. Like some shit where, like I said, I questioned myself daily. Like I was going through some real mental shit, and I got on the other side, bro. And now where I'm at on this other side, that's just beautiful. Yeah. My kids, like, we're all fucking entwined now. Like, we got strong ass relationship, bro. I got the balance. I get to be a great fucking uncle to my nephews and nieces. I get to be a great husband, a great son. I'm happy. I'm down to do whatever. Y'all want to go to the lake? Let's fucking get it. You feel me? Like, I was at a point when I was at the studio, and that's where people thought I was working the craziest because I didn't want to go nowhere. I was just fucking doing things, fucking popping pills, getting in the studio, dropping some of the hardest bars I ever dropped in my life, though, musically. But that shit, it's a balance for me, bro. I'm not one of them artists. I'm not reaching for something that's going to knock me off my pivot. Like, at the end of the day, I was grinding for myself, first and foremost, because this was a dream when I was a kid. I was grinding for myself and for my family. And I continue to do that to this day. So if I'm going to be grinding, I want to make sure that I don't fall out with my family. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you just got to be selfish. The moment you put yourself first, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I did, man. So Felt Like This, it was a record that I did for the people. And when I did the Felt Like This record, of course I wasn't going through that no more. But I think, like, God damn, bro. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. then that right there is like a big load off your chest. Like, we done made it here, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We, like I said, we got a long way to go.
But
but you turn back around.
Yeah.
Bro, I was one of them people that fucking waited his turn, bro. And Julio is my man. Julio is my witness to that, bro. He'll tell you I used to rock to certain places with Gold Toes and them, and I wasn't old enough, bro. I was the one that used to. I chilled in the parking lot till they were done doing their thing inside of a show that I wasn't old enough to get into. Wasn't never on no hater shit. Wasn't never like I should have been in there or none of that, bro. I waited my turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I got my own motion,
it was beautiful.
I ain't let that shit go since.
Yeah. No, that's what's up, man. Yeah, I really wanted to talk about those lyrics, man, because like I said, somebody might be watching and they might need to hear, the message.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. And real life is real.
Yeah.
Don't let the social media fool you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Don't let the social media fool you. And also don't go crying on social media either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are things that you need to deal with personally, and you need to deal with it by yourself. Not the closest friend to you, not your best friend, not your husband, not your wife. You got to deal with that shit by yourself, bro. You don't ever want to put yourself in such a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you also don't want to make your problems other people's, because it's draining.
Yeah.
When it's like an alternator and a battery. You get a bad battery, you can fuck up the alternator. Bad alternator, you burn the battery. You know what I mean? It kind of like go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of shit internally, bro, and I take a lot of steps back. You know what I mean? Which is probably why people see like this nigga drop a fire ass album and go missing, like because I'm in tune with myself, bro. I do shit that make me happy now.
Yeah.
I get my bag and go home, bro. You know what I mean? Same thing like, I invest in my home, like. I spent a bag on the crib. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No TVs, no surround sound, my little baby theater. You know what I mean? Like, that's just me now, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm barely coming back outside. You know what I mean? There's like, I don't remember when's the last time I did an interview. Like, I'm barely mingling.
Yeah.
I always kept to work. I'm a businessman, so I do a lot of shit from my phone and shit like that. I'm always working. But being back outside, and I pulled up on some of my people yesterday. Like, guess where the fuck you been at, man? It's been like 5-6 years, bruh. But I came back like I never left, right?
Yeah.
That's the heart of it.
No, I can relate on the whole, putting money in your house, man. I recently, my pops recently passed away, so I had to give me a house closer to my mom and my sisters.
For sure.
And I started putting money in my house, and my mom was like, "You don't think you're spending too much?" I said, "Hell no, because I'm gonna be comfortable as hell at my house. And hey, I just come out here, do the podcast, do what I gotta do." Shit, if I can stay back at home, I live about an hour away. If I can stay over there for the next 2-3 days, shit, I'm happy and comfortable.
Yeah,
and comfortable. So I can relate on that, man.
Definitely, bro.
A couple years ago, you put out a track, man, and this one stood out to me. And I know it's older, but I want to talk about that experience. You worked with a fucking legend like E40. What was that like, and how did that come about?
Shit, it was dope. Once again, it was something personal for me, because I grew up on E40. Tell Me When to Go was huge when I was young, bro. Like, I'm 95.
Yeah.
I'm 95, baby. You know what I mean? So that was huge, bro. When that came out, like, I had dreads that I ain't have. You know what I mean? I was shaking dreads that I didn't have.
Yeah.
That nigga had me going dumb. Had the whole area going dumb. Like, it was just big for the culture. So when we talked about E40, I had a record that I dropped on the first quarter Soups of Sugar Water. I dropped a record called Life in the Ghetto. And down the line, I felt like, damn, bro, that song is too fucking hard, bro. Yeah. Nobody fucking paid attention to that shit. It got slept on. And, we talked with management, the creative team, the label. We're like, fuck it, let's revamp it. So I'm like, let's put E40 on it. And, people like, at the time, people are knowing E40 for the club bangers.
Yeah.
Shit they play at the games. But I took it a little further back, and before the whole hyphy shit, E40 was on some mob shit. So back again, shout out Gold Toes, because Gold Toes is moving. Me and Gold Toes is moving like crazy for a good minute. Gold Toes gets on the line with E40, puts him on three-way. It's like, yo, I got Baby Gas on the phone with him, man. He an artist out of Oakland. First thing he says, like, I heard of Baby Gas. He tight. That right there was like, that's tight already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been working. You know, and then he was like, yeah, I got a record. You know, we got a record that we want you on and shit like that. He's like, look, that's too easy. He only asked one thing of me at that moment. He was like, look, bro, I got you. All I'm going to need from you is to return the favor when I come ask for it. In the midst of me doing a project in the future and I need a Baby Gas verse, just bless me the same way. So he blessed me. We did the record. He put his twist to it, crazy twist to it too.
Yeah.
And he called me. He was like, let's do the video. He telling me let's do the video. You know, he don't want nothing for the video. He ain't want us to pay for the video, nothing. He was just like, look, just take care of my driver. Driver was like $300. Something smooth, bro.
Yeah.
Kill, you feel me? Paid that shit, no problem. And went crazy on that record, bro.
Yeah,
and it was big for me because it was my strategy move. It was my strategy move. You know what I mean? Like, I will say that a lot of people, you know, on both sides, on all sides that are around me, were saying like, maybe what about we do somebody young though? One of these like young up and, you know, somebody that's popping right now. And to me, I'm like, nigga, that's E40, nigga. E40's always gonna be popping.
He always, yeah.
You know what I mean? He OG in this shit. And like I said, it's a personal accolade because I'm like, I grew up on this shit. Like, this is what I want, you know? Oh, well, you know, people have their opinions. I'm like, look, bro, trust me. Send this shit to E40. He gonna kill this shit. He sent it back. He killed that shit. We did the video. And now check this out. World Star tapped in like, you know, we'll take that video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had me cut off like a little piece of the intro that people never seen unless you saw it on Apple Music. But I had like a 2-minute acting, you know, intro to that video. And World Star was like, man, we'll take it. We just, that whole long thing in the front, we got to cut that. I'm like, fuck it, it's World Star, bro. Let's do it. Let's run it.
Yeah.
And we ran it. And when it went crazy, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
E40, we need another one. You know what I mean? That's for sure, bro. And it was dope. It was dope working with bro. You know, and not to mention like he came, we chopped game for a little bit. You know what I mean? On the business side, entrepreneurship shit, you know what I mean? And it was a dope combo for sure.
Yeah, shouts out to E40. Shouts out to Gotos again, man, for making all these moves happen for people out here.
The fucking machine.
Man, is he? Shit. So again, you know, your music is very storytelling and whatnot, but then here recently you just dropped a new single, Noche de Perreo, I believe is featuring AB Mesa.
Yeah, and Jay Styles.
Yeah, Jay Styles, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually my boy Clayton William put that single out, right? Shout out to Clayton. He's a producer, DJ, a lot of stuff. Actually, wear many hats.
Yeah.
Great creative, you know, and he's one of the people that I've been working with on a day-to-day basis on trying to bring a certain sound to the Latino community. The Latin side of the industry is what they like to call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're coming out with a lot of more like, you know, Spanglish music, dance music, you know what I mean? Some shit with that for the perreo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so that Noche de Perreo was really something. I was just in the studio working on other shit, and Clayton already knows how I get down. So he's like, bro, I got this song. I think it'll be a dope-ass Black and Brown collab, you know, and it got that Spanish feel to it. We need a Spanglish verse from Gas. Too easy. Put it on, knocked it out in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he put it out. I didn't know what was his idea with it or his plan with it, but I knew that he had a vision, you know, because how he is when it comes to working. So it just ended up dropping, and that shit was tight as fuck.
That's dope.
When they all got put together with all the artists on there, I'm like, that was fucking sick, bro.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. So yeah, man, shout out to Clayton. We got a lot of shit. You know, definitely a lot of shit coming for the Latin side. Some huge shit. Shit that you wouldn't even think that I would ever attempt to do.
Yeah. Man, so speaking of, you know, what you got coming out, it's been, I think 2022 was the last project you dropped. What you cooking up for this year? Is there an upcoming project, new singles dropping?
Shit. I mean, we dropped we just dropped a single called Designer Flavors. And that was the anthem for the summer for all the real smokers, people that's smoking on the real, you know, some real gas out there, you know what I mean? But I'm working on a project, bro, and really right now what I'm doing is I kind of been balancing, right? Keep in mind, like I got my hands full in a lot of shit. My fucking schedules be booked up the day the fucking year starts.
Yeah.
So, we got different avenues that we touch on. And I like to go hard for X amount of time on different avenues. This year, 2023, I've been focused on strictly shows. I had the single like 30 on Me that dropped like 5 years ago and never gave these cities or states the proper performance live of me performing these classics.
Yeah.
So for the last few months, that's what I've been focusing on. Hitting different states, performing in different states, performing in states that I've never performed before, but the fan love is fucking huge. So I've been focused on touching the people.
Yeah.
I'll get back to the music real soon, and I'll definitely give them, the new music that they want. But I didn't want to let the classics fade away from me and not have ever performed them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I got people that I still slap that song, bro. You know what I mean? People pull out songs from like 6-7 years ago, like perform this one. And it makes me realize, like, damn, bro, nobody ever seen me perform these live. Like, and that shit work, bro. We've been booked every fucking weekend. That shit great. So I'm doing that right now. But once I slow down and I get away from that, yeah, I'm going to get back to that. I got a lot of music ready to go. We just need to make sure that the people are ready to receive it.
And another thing that you got going on that people might not be aware of, you're in the music game, but you also have a podcast as well.
Yeah.
Saying What You Want podcast. Talk to us about that. Is that something that's still going to be popping up?
Yeah. So we have, we take these little breaks from time to time because life happens, right? Deals come on the table. People see our podcast, and a lot of these companies, they want it. And we're big believers of building shit to the next level, but it gotta be right.
Yeah.
This is a podcast with me and my wife, so it gotta be right for us, for the family. You know what I mean? And we same thing. We had did the YouTube shit. We had started the YouTube shit, was getting a lot of love on that, and realized that maybe we moved a little too fast on it. Because we still got to respect our kids and things like that. There's boundaries to it. But I think the podcast, man, people love it. People love to see a different side of an artist that they looked up to. An artist that they probably only know from social media posts. So they don't really got a real idea of like what this dude is really like. And I think that podcast shit like really helps them realize like this nigga cool, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Him and his wife hella fucking funny. And my wife just fucking crazy, bro. So we kind of just touch on topics that other people might have thought and don't got the balls to say.
Saying what you want.
Saying what you want, you know what I mean? And we got a lot of fucking crazy episodes, right? Like a lot of people always on our shit. We be having fucking models, strippers, entrepreneurs, like different types of walks of life, but we come out with all the crazy fucking shit. We done gotten viral a few times. I don't know if you seen the episode. We had a dancer on there squirt titty milk on us. You know what I mean?
didn't see that.
Nah, you didn't see that? Yeah, we had a dancer.
Was that season 1, season 2?
I think it was season 1.
Season 1, no, I haven't seen it.
Season 1 to season 2. We just be working. But long story short, we had a dancer. She's known at the club for squirting titty milk on clients and shit.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it, and she was just like, you
want to experience it?
You want to see it? And I'm just like, pour me up. You know what I mean? She pulled out a titty and poured me up. Turned around, pulled out her other titty, looked at my wife like, you want some? And my wife was like, fuck it. Fuck
That's
it.
hilarious.
So we did some great fucking numbers on social media and shit. Couple million, actually.
You ain't got to lie.
Man, look, check it out.
Okay, if you want to taste some.
I'm always down for a little bit, protein.
She said he wants to hold it, probably.
Right here. Go.
Yeah, he said go.
Really?
It's the Saying What You Want podcast.
Run it.
Run it.
Run it.
On camera?
On camera. We'll censor it.
Yeah, we'll
censor
censor
it.
Okay.
We're on YouTube. She's all right, come on.
Oh shit!
See.
Don't get mad at me. You know
Yeah.
who? Don't get mad at me.
I need to see this. Damn, y'all gotta be doing this. Let me see.
Oh shit! Let's see.
And it just shoots out.
Oh shit!
It really shoots out.
Get it all on my.
Oh.
Ooh, it got. Hold on, bruh.
Yep, it shoots out.
Nah. Yo, hey, somebody bring me a napkin. I need a.
Let me do it from this side. It needs to be even.
I need a napkin right here. Yep.
Here you go.
We appreciate it.
Some too.
Okay.
We appreciate
I'll
it.
try it.
We appreciate it.
Oh my God, it really just squirts out.
Oh shit. Okay, right there. That's a napkin for
Oh,
you.
well, I didn't need one. Mine didn't fall in my hand, but
I think I got a little bit on my lip or something.
how'd it taste?
Shoot.
Yeah, that shit. I haven't seen that.
That shit, you gotta watch that, bro. It's a crazy episode, man. Definitely fucking crazy. But yeah, man. You know, we just be talking shit, bro. It's all natural.
Yeah.
Nothing that I do, I ever try to force it. Like the podcast is out my crib.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got all the shit, all the equipment, all the team. You know, but we'll do it in the comfort of our own home. Our kids might be sleeping 11 p.m., 12 a.m., and we barely starting the episode. You know what I mean? So we squeeze it in with the everyday life and shit.
Yeah. Something you said, man, that people, you know, can feel. Sometimes you might feel like people can only reach you through social media and stuff, and it is a good thing to have these outlets to where they get to know you as an artist. Because something that I've been emphasizing is like these artists are human. And like I said, you know, motherfuckers might be funny, and there's something that they might like about you that, because of that little reason, they start supporting you. And the next thing you know, they support everything else you're doing. And before I wrap this up, it's a question I like to ask at the very end of the show, man. And again, for the same reason, which is why I like what you said, is what has been your biggest life lesson, whether it's in this industry or in life in general, but what has been like something that you can share as a message with people?
Don't trust nobody 100%. That's some of my biggest mistakes. You know, I always had like this impression that I wanted to come up with the people that I really started with. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna lie, man, if there's anything throughout my whole journey that I've experienced multiple times, is just being fucked over. You know what I mean? Just because you got a genuine heart, how the way that I come, we grew up breaking bread, bro. We don't give a fuck if you bought those chips or what the fuck you got. You breaking bread with everybody in here. We don't eat in people's faces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We share everything we got. If I got one burrito, we splitting this shit as many times as we need to. We'll half a half. You know what I mean? Like, that's just where I come from. So, you know, it's cost me. It's definitely cost me. Like I said, that's where the selfishness came in. You know, you realize to put yourself first. You know, now I'm at a situation where somebody try to come up to me and pour me out this sob story. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Like, I ain't at the, hey, bro, don't trip, bro. We're going to make this shit happen. You feel me? Because now I'm just like, I got 5 kids at home, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They got to eat too.
Yeah, they got to eat too, bro. So that's crazy that you saying that. You good, though? You look good. You woke up today. You ain't in jail. You know what I mean? You
make it happen.
Yeah, you can make it happen, bro.
Yeah.
For sure. Our people do.
Yeah. Already, man. Hey, once again, bro, I appreciate you stopping by, bro, and appreciate you making time for us. I know you got, a lot going on today, and then you going to Oklahoma for the car show out there.
Yep.
So once again, make sure you guys check them out on social media.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Baby Gas.
Yep.
We'll have the links on the description of the podcast, the description of the video. And again, shouts out to the sponsors like Conecta, GT Distribution. You're watching Texas Underground.
Let's get
and
it.
joining us, like I mentioned, the Ghetto es Vato. Baby Gas, appreciate you, bro.
Come on, man.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Appreciate you having me.